Hey, you've got this part of the video. You've got the live unedited edition. Home Gadget Geeks. It's Thursday night. It's the 7th of August. It's 2025. It's 7 p.m. in the Central Time Zone. If you got this any other time than that, you've got our recorded version, and that's okay. Hang tight. We'll get started here in just a second. Little pre-show. We got a pre-show pour ahead, but Erin Lawrence is with me. Erin, always great to see you. Welcome back.
Oh, Jim, thanks so much for having me. It is always my pleasure to be here with you and your audience.
Oh, you're the favorite by far of
Ah,
all of it. You're the
don't
and
tell Uncle Marv that.
not
He'll
just well,
be he'll
he's
be
not
so
listening.
sad.
He doesn't know.
I don't know, Jim.
You never know. You never know out there. But I get a lot of great comments for you. So thanks for coming back. Brian's checking in and says good evening. If you're in the chat room, let us know you're listening out there as well, and we'll get started here in just a second. Erin, you've done a ton of these with me. We do a little pre-show pour. What we're
We
drinking tonight.
do.
I think you've got something lined up. What are you drinking tonight?
I have well, I guess
Oh,
it's hard to see, but it is a Manhattan, classic Manhattan. Well, maybe
oh,
not classic
nice.
because it's made with bourbon. And I think
Yeah, you can do
classically
that.
it's supposed to be made with rye, supposed to be.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right, but those lines are so blurred. Both with old fashions and Manhattans have gotten
Yes, yes.
pretty liberal. Yeah, pretty liberal. So, what are you using from a bourbon standpoint? Do you remember what you're using?
Knob Creek, I think is what it was.
Oh
I
yeah,
just
nice.
splashed myself with part of
Oh,
it
that's
here,
okay.
so good thing I
You
don't have to
smell good
drive
now.
anywhere later. I do smell good.
The dogs will leave you alone after this point.
The
Yeah,
mosquitoes.
yeah. They're gonna not want to have anything to do
I
with
haven't even
you.
had anything to drink, Jim, and I'm
I
already
know the
spilling,
first
so
was it the cube? Was it the ice cube that got
it
you?
I
That
you
did
know
you
what?
in?
It is. I put 2 big ice cubes in, which is normally a
Yeah.
great way to keep it cold for longer, but,
Hmm.
the spill factor, so
One of the things, just thinking about drinking gadgets, right, is I got
Mm,
this Yeti tumbler. And now these things are like $25 here in the
yep.
US, so they're $500 in Canada.
Yes, they
But
are.
right. But these for old fashions and Manhattans and some of those that require where you want to keep the drink cool for a while, these tumblers are just
Okay.
yeah. Now, is it worth $25 or 35 for you guys?
Depends where you are and what you're doing.
No, right on. I you can't see it. You don't get, that part of the cocktail is like when you held your glass up, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
seeing the liquid, which is part of it.
Yeah.
But for everyday, no, we shouldn't say everyday drinkers, but for
Right.
oops, did I give it away?
I
For
think you meant to say
yeah,
for drinking in the park. No, wait,
regular
that's
once
not
a
it
month.
either.
Yeah, once a month. My physical's coming up and he's going to ask me, "So, Jim, is it still 2 or 3 drinks a month?" And you'll be like, "Well, I don't
You'd be like,
know.
"Wah,
I
wah."
don't know." Well, I'm also doing some bourbon here, but I've got some
Oh, very
Maker's
nice.
Mark 46 French oaked, so they use French oak
Ooh.
staves in it. And then this is a January 2023
Oh,
bottling, so it's a
wow.
couple years old now. 110 proof. It's one of my faves, just to be
That's
honest.
a bit hot, right?
It is a
Little
little
on the
hot.
warm
It
side.
is a
Yep.
little, well, it's
Good
cast
cocktail
strength.
bourbon.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's cast strength. Yeah, this would be good in the Manhattan. You could do an old fashioned any bourbon
mm.
drink out of this. You'd get that unique. You kind of get that unique flavor
Yeah.
out of that, and
Vanilla,
a little
oaky,
and a
smoky.
little punch. Your Knob Creek is probably I got one sitting right there. You're probably at 90 or 95 proof, something like that. Do you
Yeah.
think so? Just under 100 proof, and which isn't bad, but some of the
Yeah.
stronger ones, 110, 120,
Yeah.
get you
Good
going.
sipping bourbon though too, as long as you're in the mood for the warmth.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Carefully now.
Your Knob Creek is a great choice for Manhattan. It's one of my faves. We make cherry whiskey every
Mm.
summer. Early in the summer, we get cherries from my son's tree, and then this year we actually bought some store cherries from like Costco just to
Mhm.
see what they would do. A little
Oh.
larger, a little more juiced, so to speak.
Mhm.
Right? They're giant cherries,
Yeah.
and so we made cherry whiskey out of those, and we haven't tasted it yet, but I'm anticipating that the Costco cherry whiskey is going to be good. Like you
We
just,
might have to talk about that because I've got a cherry tree in our yard that in the last couple of years has really started producing a lot of cherries.
oh
Like they're not very
yeah,
big, but there's a lot of them. So cherry whiskey is not something that has occurred to me. So maybe I'm gonna have to find out what this
yeah.
is all about.
Yeah, it's not we say it's infused, but you just really put the cherries in there and
Okay.
let it set for 6 months.
Okay.
It's not
I can do
particularly
that.
yeah, you could. We will talk about that. So, Brian's checking in. He says, "Hey, Jim and Aaron."
Hey,
And then
Brian.
Aaron's checking in. He says, "Hey, Brian, Aaron, totally agree on the tumblers. Keep one in our travel trailer for old fashions." Yeah,
Yes.
the camping tumbler when you're out making cocktails camping because you don't
Yes.
you're not gonna have air conditioning to help with that, and so
No,
keeping
that's so true.
yeah. Yeah. Do you use for ice? Do you have king ice cubes? Do you
I've
get
got a couple things. I review them every now and then. I've got one of those
of course you
clear
do.
ice,
Yeah.
right? Got one of those clear ice makers that's sort of the two-layer thing. You fill it up with water and the top
Yeah.
layer is clear. I've got the big round ones. I've got baseball shaped ones. Roger likes baseball.
Oh, nice.
And then I've got some of the giant square ones as well. So I've got a few options.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think they do make a big difference. Melts
Yeah.
melts less quickly.
Less. Yeah. Yeah. Big we do the
Less
king
quickly.
we do king ice silicon
Yep.
holders, and then the ones we like have a Tupperware that's brand name. I probably shouldn't say
Yeah.
that, but around it's got a edge and a lid, and you put it on it, and it kind of just keeps
Mhm.
the smells and stuff out of it. And yeah, we really like those king ices for us. Square king ice is the way to go. So
And is that King Ice, does that refer to the size of it or, like, that's the
square
brand name of the
sizes.
maker thing?
I don't know. We've always just it's
Huh.
square and large, and we've always just
Okay.
called it king ice. Yeah,
Okay, I haven't heard that before. I
yeah,
learned something
yeah.
today.
There you go. There you go. That's in fact for some of my friends who are just starting to get into cocktails. That's a gift I like to give them. Like you're gonna need one
Oh,
of these.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
So
gift, good gift.
bust out's joining us as too. He said, "Hey, never been able
Oh,
to make it when Aaron's
exciting.
on before, so thanks for coming out. Good
Now
to
I
see you,
wonder
bust
who
out."
Bust Out is actually. One of my good friends, maybe?
No, we've been a long time listener here,
Oh,
but
okay, I thought it was
yeah,
somebody I
yeah,
didn't recognize under, like, a
yeah.
pseudonym. It's very
No, just
mysterious.
long time Home Gadget Geeks
Oh,
listener,
cool.
able to come
Well
from time to time, but
well,
first
hi,
time
Bust
with
Out.
you.
Nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Okay. I've got let me open this thing up. I've got a
Yeah.
little bit to do in the beginning. I got a cool graphic. I didn't show you in the pre-show, but I got this
Ooh.
cool graphic to show you. I think you'll like. And then yeah, you know how this goes. Here we go. Let's get this done. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 655 with guest Erin Lawrence, recorded on August 7th, 2025. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home, news, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the Average Guy TV studios here in a beautiful Bellevue, Nebraska. It's green and lush here. We've had lots of rain this year. Erin, how are things in your neck of the, okay, by the way, thanks for all the smoke. Okay. You guys have sent us,
Sorry.
my gosh, can you just keep it
Blame
there? What's
Canada,
going
right?
on?
Blame Canada. It's true.
Oh,
We do apologize for that. We apologize for a lot of things, so we might as
yeah.
well apologize for the
Sorry,
smoke.
sorry, right?
Sorry. So
Um,
sorry.
it's just ironic that it's in times of tariff tensions that Canada is just sharing
Oh, I like that. I
sharing their
never
stuff.
thought of it that way before, but I kinda do like
Yeah,
that now.
yeah. All right. Well, we will post the show with some world class show notes, and there'll be a bunch from Erin. So you'll wanna head over to the averageguy.tv and grab those show notes as you're listening. And a big thanks to everyone using the affiliate link that I've posted on the site now. Go to the averageguy.tv. We have an Amazon pass through. Just click on
Mm.
it and it'll set the cookie and you're in. You need to do nothing else. Many of you have been doing that lately. So thanks for getting that done. And then, of course, uh, for those of us, or for those of you who are on our Patreon account, thanks for all that you do. We just have one plan, super easy to jump in. If you want to be a Patreon subscriber, you can do it, theaverageguy.tv/Patreon, and jump in today. Big thanks to Gavin Campbell, who joined me last week. And Gavin, I got to admit, I know you're listening. RTF, I whiffed on this. We covered RTF Water Saver Sod. It's a new kind of grass. Aaron, have you heard of RTF seed before?
No, seed,
So
not like actual grass, not turf.
it's well, you can get it as sod or you can buy the seed, but the seed is this
Interesting.
special. I he talked about it and I don't know what I was thinking. I totally whiffed on it, but we're going to talk about robot, lawnmowers for you, but it's self-healing fescue. So it grows like fescue, but it sends out rhizomes. So instead of having to reseed all the time, most fescues don't reseed themselves really well. You got to cut the actual seeds off of them, but this has rhizomes that shoot their way out and self repairs, and it's supposed
Wow.
to be super good. The crazy thing about it is, I heard a commercial. I've never heard of this grass before. You know how we always joke about when you talk about things on your phone, okay,
They're
and
listening to you? Yeah.
starts showing up. I was listening to the radio. This wasn't even possible. I'm listening to the radio, and they start advertising for RTF grass. I was like, Gavin, you are amazing that somehow
Wow.
you got that on the show and they're talking it on. Anyways, Gavin, thanks for joining us last week. I whiffed on that. We should have talked more about the grass, and we didn't. But well, next time you're back on, we'll see how that's going. Erin, I want to share a graphic with you. On last week's show, we spent a little time talking about power tools and kind of the mafia that's around power tools. I don't know if you know, like if you've bought a drill or if you think you're in a little bit in this space, you see there's this incredible market around batteries, right? I
Okay.
mean,
Mhm.
DeWalt, Makita, Black and Decker, right? And there's all these brands doing all this stuff, and you kind of wondering like, hey, who's who in this space? Like, how does this line up? And so Peter sent me an email this week, and he just said, Jim, I got to show you how the tool brands work out. So what I'm showing on screen right now is a graphic around the outside of this are the parent companies. And then you start digging in and looking at who owns what from that aspect, whether it's Makita or Milwaukee or MTD. DeWalt is another one. The company that owns DeWalt also owns Stanley, also owns Irwin, also owns Porter Cable, also owns Black and Decker, right? I mean, those are
Wow.
five. Yeah, 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 yeah. So as you're thinking about,
Husqvarna's in there.
uh-huh, yeah, they're all,
Interesting.
yeah. It's just so when you
Huh.
think about the brand you're buying of the gadget, whether it's a saw or a drill or a lawnmower or and this used to not be such a big deal in the lawnmower space, but as we were going to talk a little bit later here about robot lawnmowers, batteries are kind of becoming a thing, especially for the ones we push, right? Not so much for the
Yep.
robot versions, but a lot for the ones we push that are electric as well. So anyways, Peter, thanks for sending this graphic. It was a little bit of an eye opener as we think about the tool brand mafia that exists out there and all the things that go into batteries and purchasing batteries. Aaron, the one thing we talked about last week, and I'll just reiterate, be very, very careful of where you buy your batteries, because if you're buying them on eBay or some of those sites, chances are they're counterfeit. And you would think,
Right.
really? Are we really to that
I
point?
wouldn't
Yeah.
think really. I would actually 100% believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're pretty expensive. And anytime something gets expensive, it finds a counterfeit. So
Mhm.
it finds a place. Erin, welcome back. How are you doing? How are things in Canada? How are you doing?
Things are fantastic. I am great. Life is good. I have nothing to complain about. I've been super busy this season, testing a lot of stuff, writing a lot of articles and scripts and that kind of stuff. I took on a new project this season. I think we've talked in the past about my camper vans that my husband
Oh
and I
yeah.
have built.
Hmm.
Well, I bought a trailer in
Oh,
the spring and have decided to
nice.
renovate that. So
Okay.
that's been a little slow going because it's mainly me, which for the first
Okay.
time I don't have like Roger's help. And Roger is kind of the engineer and the smart builder about all that stuff. I'm more like the light duty labor. So
Yeah.
it's been really eye opening for me having to teach myself how to do
Yeah.
things and learn how trailers operate because they're very different than camper vans in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
So that's
Hmm.
been keeping me busy. I'm putting together a little YouTube series, of course, on that whole process and that journey. So that'll be on the YouTube channel
Cool.
probably starting in the next couple of weeks. YouTube.com/Erin Lawrence TV.
Love that. Okay, so we're looking at your name tag over here. It now says techgadgetsinternational.com. Okay, for the longtime listeners, it's always been
Yes.
techgadgetscanada.com. I'm assuming both work, but seriously, international? If you broke out, are you breaking out?
I am breaking out. There's actually a lot of milestones happening this summer/fall. So one of them is I'm making more of a deliberate transition to using techgadgetsinternational.com because though I am Canadian and, Canada's where it all started, the audience in the United States and international has started outpacing, well, not even started. It greatly outpaces the Canadian readership and
Yeah,
viewership.
yeah.
So I made the decision a little while ago to start making that move to just better reflect who the audience is. So yeah, Tech Gadgets Canada still works. Tech Gadgets International works. They kind of both point at the same site if you know anything about, URLs and stuff. It's the same website, but it just more reflects the international nature of the viewers. And then
That's
the other
great.
big milestone that's about to happen is I'll be hitting 100,000 YouTube subscribers probably in the next 2 weeks, I think.
Nice. Okay.
So
Okay. Well, maybe
I'm really
faster
stoked about that.
if we can help with that. Why don't you head out to youtube.com/Erin Lawrence TV.
Yes.
And right, did I get that right? And then go ahead and
Yes.
subscribe on that. Let's boost her up to 100,000
That would be
subscribers.
amazing.
And
Thank
then
you.
I think they deliver cake when that happens. I'm pretty sure somebody from YouTube, right? Isn't that
There
what you
there is there is a plaque. You have to I've been told that you have to, they send you an email and you have to kind of accept it, and then they'll send it to you, find out where to send it. But I am getting cake. I pre-ordered just this afternoon, cupcakes for the
Oh,
occasion for next week,
nice.
so gonna
Nice.
have a little bit of a celebration. I'm also thinking about doing kind of like a live stream or an
Oh,
AMA,
nice.
ask me anything on the
Yeah.
day I cross over
Okay.
just to, you know, take the pulse of what's going on
Yeah.
out there, get to know the audience a little bit better and kind of celebrate with everyone who's helped get me here.
Right on. Well, I get to say I remember when Erin Lawrence wasn't anybody, and
Yep.
now she's a
I'm
big
I'm
deal.
still nobody, but
No. Oh, you're super famous. Brian says, "Pre-congrats on your
thanks,
accomplishments."
Brian. Thank
It's
you.
a lot of work, right? I mean, it's a ton of work. I mean, Home Gadget Geeks, we've been sporting 1,500 subscribers for a long time, and I don't push the YouTube channel very much. It's
Mhm.
talking head stuff. Like your review format right now does really, really well. A lot of people are looking for that. I'm looking for it all the time. You know this. I'm not a review guy. That's not my gig. This is my
Mhm.
gig, right?
Yeah.
Spending time building community, talking to people, building
Yes.
communities that are healthy. I mean, we have a
Mhm.
really, really healthy community here. And
Warm and
so,
welcoming, friendly.
yes,
Absolutely.
yeah, because we just don't allow it any other way. I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of the thing is like I'd rather have friendly people than a lot. And so we have the best listeners on the planet that come out
You
here at
do.
Home Gadget Geeks. So it's super good. Well, congrats on all that and best wishes in the future here. We'll continue to have even when you're a big deal, will you come back on when I ask? Is that
Absolutely. This is
okay?
my favorite
Uh,
podcast. Sorry again to Uncle Marv.
he'll
Poor
understand. He's
poor
not even
Uncle Marv.
listening. He's not even listening anyways. It's fine. Aaron, let's dig into some what's going on
Yeah.
over there. And I think the lawnmower you have, I think Gavin's got a version of this as well. Let me bring this in. It is the Segway Navimo. Is that
Navimo?
it?
I've been
I mean,
calling it
what's
Navimo. I hope that's what
okay? All right, you want to talk a little bit about it?
pronouncing it correctly. Yeah, so I've started reviewing more robot lawnmowers because it just makes so much sense to me. So Segway reached out to me after they saw, I think, a couple of other lawn robot reviews I had done and offered me the opportunity to try theirs out. So Segway is not a brand I've ever had the opportunity to test or review yet, so completely new to me brand. Although they also sent me one of their e-kick scooters, one of their electric scooters, which I'm
That's kind
also
of what we know
reviewing.
them for, right? Is
Yeah,
the
or those upright
Segway? Yeah,
scooters.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I knew about them, and I had no idea they had a robot lawnmower. So I was super excited to try it. The major selling point I would say of this robot lawnmower is no wires, which
Oh,
for anybody who's done research into this product category knows that's a huge deal. Um, Most of the older generation of robots require you to delineate your yard, lay boundary wire, and either bury it or stake it into the ground. And the last time I did this with a Husqvarna lawn robot, it took us about 2.5 days to get that done. It's a
mm,
lot of work. So
mhm.
with this one, it's pretty amazing. All you have to do really is connect it to your phone and then like joystick it around the yard and show it where the edges are. But this one actually goes one step further. It's so smart that once you sort of take it over, you drive it over to the edge of your lawn, it has enough recognition technology that it can go, okay, I think this is the boundary. And it'll just drive itself around the edges of your yard and then go, did I get it right? And it does. So mapping this one took me, no time at all. And I had a really accurate map of my yard. And then from there, it just cuts your lawn. Like you can set
Mm.
up a schedule. Everything with this one was so easy. It was so much fun. I did do I made kind of a hilarious mistake, which for those who are seeing on YouTube, you can see it on the screen here. I couldn't actually get it to drive, so your phone turns into a joystick for this robot and you drive it, like I said, across your lawn. So I couldn't get it to go, couldn't get it to go, couldn't get it to go. And I finally realized I'm trying to drive it backwards because the bigger wheels on it, it's got these
Mm.
really big, chunky orange wheels on one end and then these teeny tiny wheels on the other. On every other robot lawnmower I've reviewed, the big wheels are the back wheels, but on this one, they're the front wheels. So
Ah,
I didn't
okay.
know. So I
Yeah.
was trying to drive it backwards and it was like, nope, error, can't go, can't go. So anyway, I finally figured it out. It was a funny to me, but
Yeah,
anyway,
no,
this
it's
super easy product
you
once you know
when
what
you
you're
review
doing.
them enough, right? I mean, you had that turned over. You can see it's got the razor blade cutters on the bottom. It's good size from that perspective. Leading into this, we were talking about the battery technology, kind of,
Mhm.
the group's batteries. All these robot lawnmowers, the battery's kind of built in. There's no way to replace that, right? For the most part in all the work that you've done, do you ever wish you would go with a mower where it had replaceable batteries just in case? Or has that ever been an issue in what you're doing?
100%. I just posted a video, last week, which was my 3-year update to the Husqvarna auto mower that I reviewed 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And one of the major pain points for me after having owned it for 3 years is that the battery life is just no longer there.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, I think actually Husqvarna, because it has that sort of dealer network and you can access, shops to take it into and get repairs made or upgrades or whatever. I actually do think I could probably replace the battery in that one. But since I had the opportunity to review the Segway Navimo I-110 is the exact model of it. I
Mhm.
just thought, you know what, I'm gonna park the Husqvarna and
Yeah.
take this one
Yeah.
for a spin.
For sure.
And this to me is the future of robot lawn mowing. It just makes so much more sense. It sees everything, it knows where it's going. It also uses essentially satellite GPS to position itself in your yard so it always knows where you are, where it's cutting. You can divvy up your lawn into different zones. And then one of the things I actually really love about it is every week it'll cut the lawn in a different direction. So, week 1, it'll cut it kinda north south, week 2, it'll cut it east west, and then week 3, it'll cut it on a diagonal.
Yeah.
And I love nothing more than standing in my window with my cup of coffee in the morning, watching the little Segway Navimo cut perfect rows straight across every time. And that's actually a
Mhm.
pain point of those wired lawnmowers is they essentially bump around inside a giant playpen. They're
Yeah.
not smart. They can't see where they are. They just bumble around the yard until they hit a boundary and turn around and come back. So they'll cut your lawn and they'll do a good job because they're kind of covering all of the space at some point eventually. But the technology in these newer mowers, this one and the, Ecovacs Goat, which I also reviewed earlier this
Mhm.
season,
Mhm.
they are just so much smarter, and it's just mind-blowing how good a job they can do with almost no input from you.
Yeah, they just do it. Gavin had mentioned last week, the next phase of these robot lawnmowers is lidar. So instead
Mhm.
of like first we had wires, then we got GPS, and now I think the next version's lidar, right? Where
Yep.
it can actually kind of see the mapping's gotten really good. And like you say, for you, the difference was it just kind of learns the space.
Mhm.
And then, for a while we had to take them around the edges of the space,
Yeah.
right? Right, and now they kinda learn the edges of the space, and then it's
Yes.
like, "Okay, we're good," and you can go in on your phone and make an adjustment if you want to, or
Yeah.
say, "No, don't go over there," or mark some of them out. I did notice, I've been following the Yarbos, right, and that when you think
Mhm.
about it, when you think about a piece of yard equipment, that thing it's a tank, right? It
Yeah.
does lawns, it does snow blowing. They have edging attachments for it. I mean,
That's
really, it's
right, I
now
did see that.
it's 5,000.
Yeah.
What was the retail on the
I
Segway? Do you
think
know
this
offhand?
one, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, I wanna say it was around
Okay,
$2,000-ish.
okay, yeah, yeah,
Um, Canadian American? Who knows what she's talking about?
yeah.
Um,
Well, listen, this space you want to be. It's competitive. It's super competitive.
yeah,
So you want to make
and it's
sure
getting
yeah,
cheaper all the
yeah,
time, and the technology is getting better. So, like, I mean, wait till next summer if it's kinda too late in the season for you, and who knows what you'll be able to get by then.
yeah, yeah. Bust out makes an interesting comment, and we'll go on this here. He says, let me bring it up. He says, I love the idea, but my gardeners do more than mow. I might replace them with a robot when the robot can pick up after itself and remove all the sticks that fall from me, from the neighbors. I have big trees. I have a big linden, and that just
Mhm.
somehow drops more sticks than I would
Yeah.
think. How can there be any sticks left up there?
Right.
Like it drops so much. How do I have a tree left after all
Yeah.
these sticks are dropped? And there are, it's interesting to think about, we're seeing in the farming industry, we're starting to see some robots that are weeders, right? So they go
Mhm.
out and they spot the weeds and then spot spray them or
Yep.
zap them, right? Little heat, little
Yeah, a
on
little
there to
laser.
zap the weeds. You kind of got to start wondering. You've been doing lawnmowers for a while. You got to start wondering when we might start seeing the convergence of both weeding and mowing. And then what about the big obstacles? What about a branch that
Mhm.
that's just because your mower sees a good sized branch and it probably avoids it. I would imagine.
Mhm.
Did
It
have you?
hasn't really encountered anything
Okay.
big. We've got a weeping birch, and it'll run over those, like, small
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bits. Um, but I think you're right. Like, we've also seen technology in robot vacuums anyway. iRobot, I think it is, has, a vacuum robot that actually has an arm that will reach out the top and can pick up socks
Yeah. Yeah.
and move it out of the way and clean around it.
That's great.
So,
Yes.
it does not
Yes.
surprise me if a year or 2 from now, your robot lawnmower has the little reaching arm and it can move the stick or whatever
Yeah.
is in the way
Yeah.
and just keep cutting right around it.
I This year we've had so much wind and so much rain. I mean, I've gotten some good sticks. It'd be great if I had a stick mode, and it would be like, don't mow, just go out and find all the sticks, put them in a corner
Rake.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, clean that thing up. One more comment on that. The Yarbo also now is offering because it's a big unit blades. So like
Mm.
not 22-inch blades, but more like 8-inch blades. But they're
Yeah.
still blades, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about mowing in your situation, you're probably not mowing the thickest grass all the time, right? I mean, you're
No.
coming at
Yeah.
it from a pretty maintained standpoint.
I would say so. I mean, first of the year, it's usually the grass is pretty green and lush, and then usually in Calgary, I mean, the heat gets to be enough that it kills off most of the grass by
Yeah,
August.
isn't that crazy?
Although we've had torrential rain this year, for about the last month
Yeah,
almost straight. So the
yeah,
lawns are pretty lush.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I ended up doing with this mower, just to see what it would do, is I set it up to do my neighbors' yards too. So it'll
Oh,
do the neighbors on either side as well. So none of us is cutting the lawn this summer, though the lawns keep growing. So I think I'm a hit in the neighborhood,
way
which
to
is
win friends
fun.
and influence people.
Right? I
Yeah,
only
you're
do it
like,
for neighbors I like.
"Hey, is it okay? Can we set up a can you open your gate for me so that my
Right?
robot lawnmower can come in and get the lawns mowed?" That's
Yeah.
great. In all the work that you've done, if someone's thinking about buying one of these, what are a
Mm.
few things you would think about before you buy one? Like, what's for you? You mentioned wires. I think most
Mhm.
of them are wireless now at this
Mhm.
point, but
Yeah.
in some of the work that you've done, what's some advice before you buy, do you think?
I would say there's some lawn robots now, and I'm thinking, I think it's the Ecovacs Goat has a dual array, so a dual cutting array. So it's got 6 blades on 2 flywheels instead of just a single flywheel with 3 blades. So depending on your lawn and you know, how much it grows,
Yeah,
that might be a consideration.
yeah,
I also think that, again, depending on your yard, some of them can climb slopes better than others. So that's something you'll have to watch for.
yeah.
And then the other consideration is total area size. So how big is your yard? Because some of them, and I've been told that I think it's the Segway. Some of my viewers told me um, it actually will throttle it up to a certain point. So I think the one I have is a quarter acre size,
Yeah.
so that if I
Yeah.
tried to cut more than a quarter acre total, it would just say, "No, we're not gonna do it."
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
I'm like, "Well, why would you do that? Like, what difference does it make?" And my sense of it is that the battery capacity just wouldn't be able to handle it, so it would kinda get out and start cutting and maybe get too far and die before it could get back to its base station to recharge, maybe? Um, so depending on how big your yard is, there are only certain robots and brands that can handle much
Yeah.
bigger spaces.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it kind of all comes down to your particular space and what you're gonna use it for. I've got a pretty small, pretty flat yard, so it's pretty easy for me, and obviously, I haven't had a lot of problems. I haven't been able to challenge these mowers too
Mhm.
much, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, my backyard would be a robot lawnmower dream, pretty easy. It's intricate, but it's all the spaces have bumpers, so it would bump
Mm,
around and find its things and get it done. That would be easy. The front yard is a challenge. Zoysia grass, so it's Bermuda style.
mm.
It's a carpet. You could sleep on the thing. It's more comfortable than most mattresses. Um, but it gets thick and
Mhm.
it's a lawn. Like, it is
Yeah.
beautiful this time of year. I also have a really steep drop off on one of the hills,
Mm.
so I would need to either fix that I always think like, well, okay, maybe I just mow that section. And then like, well, it's only 20 minutes to mow it if I'm like, I
Yeah.
want it to do it all, right?
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah.
So if anybody's got a super strong mower that they want to send me to try on my very challenging lawn, Jim at the average guy.tv will give it a shot
And
on the
report
front
back,
yard.
please.
Yeah. Well, on all the demos I've seen, they're always doing it with bluegrass or
Mm.
pretty tame lawns for the most part. And I'm like, man, send that thing onto my Zoysia. I don't know. That's now, it would be there would be a great advantage to for it to be able to mow every other day or even every day in
Oh,
some
yeah.
regards, right? Because it's made your heat and our heat and the moisture we've both been getting. I mean,
Mhm.
we're basically in the kind of the same kind of zone. It's going to get a little colder for you before us, but
Yes.
that lawn thrives in that kind of scenario, and so it'd be tough to mow it. So good. Well, check that out. Again, I'll put the link in the show notes if you want to go out and watch that video. If you want to check it out, you've got the next one I want to look at is a true like automotive gadget. As we think about
Mm.
inflators and jump starters, which remember the old days of jump starting your car where you get some cables and track a buddy down. Hey, can you come jump my car?
Beg
That's
someone in a parking lot. Yep.
yeah, that's gone, right? I mean,
It's over.
talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, these are gadgets I didn't know I needed until I had them, and with the trailer that I bought, that I mentioned earlier, it's actually come in really handy. So this is a newer company, newer brand, I guess, called Strato, and they make a universal tire inflator and a jump starter. So these jump starter products have actually been around for a few years. I used to have one, and it was a dream for my older car. It got stolen out of my car one day, and I never
No.
replaced it.
Oh no.
So when this one landed, I was like, "Oh, thank goodness I've got, another option." And the genius thing about this is it's essentially a small battery pack with 2 of those, claw clips, that you just attach to your battery cables or your battery. What do you call the
Terminals.
battery terminals?
Terminals.
Thank you,
There
that's
you
the
go.
word I was
There you
looking for.
go. Yeah,
The terminals, and then you turn it on and it'll jump your battery for you. So you don't
yeah.
need the long cables, you don't need to, like, park the other car in such a way that you can reach both cars' batteries. Um, it's such a smart and handy gadget to have, and I think you get a handful of jumps out of each full charge, so you can keep it in your car if you should ever need it, and yeah, I mean, just such a useful, handy gadget, and one of those things that I think is a good gift for people because you never know you're gonna need that until you need it, and then you're hooped, right? So,
Mhm.
if you've got something like that that's just stashed in the back of the car, make sure it's charged up every few months maybe. The one I've got, the Strato one seems to hold a charge fairly well, and dead simple to use. I mean, even somebody who's not comfortable using cables or whatever can use this. It will tell you if you have them connected correctly. So I know a lot of people are paranoid about connecting the positive and the negative and not sure which way to do it. So it'll tell you if you've got it connected correctly. And if you don't have it connected correctly, it won't actually issue the charge. So that's pretty smart.
Yeah. These we've gotten a lot better on the battery technology. Bust out mentions in chat, his concern is leaving a lithium battery in a hot
Mm,
car. And I definitely would not leave this on the windows side of the car. Now, there's not that much difference between the compartment of the car where you sit in and the trunk, but I
right.
would try to keep these things in the rear. I am sure, listen, they've been tested, to make
Hmm.
sure they can withstand those temperatures. But yeah, no, it's a concern for sure keeping a battery in there. Jim Shoemaker says,
Mm,
I own one of these jump starters just to be sure. Check the charge every 4 to 6 months because you never know
yep.
there could be a phantom charge that comes off
Yep.
this and it doesn't
Or
take
that heat
long.
or extreme cold can potentially
Yeah.
affect them too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd recommend actually you, after you've used it, just charge it. Like it's probably one of
yeah,
those,
good
you
practice.
know, you don't you say 3 or 4, and yeah, that's it probably is true. But
Yeah.
if you've jumped it, one, figure out why you needed to jump it, and then two, charge the thing, right? But you never know on older cars. Um, it's also handy. It's as I looked at the design, it's kind of bulletproof. With the
Mhm.
when you were always jumping with somebody else, you're like, okay, negative first, positive first. Does it
Right.
right? And this opportunity put them on that. Most new cars now actually have separate like lugs for
Yes.
this, just
Yep.
for this purpose. Stick them on, hit the boost button, and then crank that thing over. I've even seen them where you can plug them into the cigarette lighter. That Not that we have those anymore. Nobody knows what they are. They're phone chargers,
Right.
right?
Power port. Yep.
Yeah, nobody knows, like, cigarette lighters. Like, you
I
light
called it that the
cigarettes.
other day and I was like, "Ooh, that's probably politically incorrect now."
Probably, you're probably right. Nobody knows what they are. They're just barrel chargers, right? But they're
Yep.
still in cars.
Mhm.
Speaking of that, you're showing you also talking about an inflator. Let me bring that in,
Yeah.
and because these are two nice things to have in your car, like your emergency kit, right? You would,
Essentially, yeah.
yeah, you would have a jump. You would have this. You might have some of those foldable cones, kind of, they're
Yes.
right? Some of those, maybe a first aid kit. This
Yes.
comes in handy when your tires go flat. Talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, so I was super glad to have this for my new trailer because the trailer that I bought, the tires were basically cracked and falling apart. So I had to
Yeah.
use the inflator several times. And the great thing about this is, again, portable and wireless, so you can just bring it back to where you are, and connect it. It's got different attachments for car tires, for bike tires, and for inflating all those other things that we all have, across the summer, air mattresses, pool floaties, that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
And simple to use. It's got a handful of presets as well. So depending on what you need to inflate, you can kind of key in a preset for it, and it
Is that
will.
the camper? Sorry to interrupt. Is that the
Yeah.
camper? Did we just see that?
Yeah, yeah. Did
We
you see it?
hold on. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, you've got a little bit of work to do on this thing. This
Yeah,
hold on.
$1978, Jim,
Let's
is
go back.
the age of this camper trailer.
You've got. It's like I saw it for a second and now it won't show it to me.
I should have sent you some video. You're like, "Ah."
Uh, oh, that's all right. So yeah, it looks the tires. I see that your tires. Yeah, I hope you
They're
got a good
cracked
deal
and
on this
bald,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
they've
yeah.
since been replaced,
Okay,
so
good.
that was pretty much the first thing I had to do on them because I was like,
Nobody
"I
freak
am not
out.
comfortable
Yeah.
driving this." But I did use the inflator on them a couple times because I wanted to, drive it around or move it, repark it, that kind of thing. You can also use this inflator while it's plugged into that barrel charger adapter.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but the thing is the cord's kind of it's only long enough to do a vehicle that it's plugged into. So it would reach my back tires, which you can kind of see if you're watching on the YouTube feed, but it's not long enough to reach back to the trailer. So you definitely need the wireless,
Okay.
the battery option to use it back there. And I think I inflated all 4 tires once, and that basically ate up most of the battery, if I remember correctly. So, do need to recharge it after that, and you can't use this inflator while it's, like, plugged in to a wall or, to an outlet to
Yeah.
recharge, but you
Okay.
can use it while it's plugged in to the barrel, if that makes sense. So, just a caveat about that. But
So
so
AC
glad I have
charges
these.
it. AC
Yes,
charges it, but DC will run it coming
exactly.
off the car. Okay.
You put
Yeah.
it much more eloquently than I
No,
did.
it's I've been doing a lot. I've been working on solar power. All of a sudden, my
Oh,
AC
yeah.
DC chops
Yeah.
are coming back up to speed. You get a bunch of adapters with it. I
Mhm.
do like kind of the set it. I'm assuming you can set it, say, take the tire to 37 PSI,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah,
get
you
you
can
there,
dial it
right?
in manually if you need to. It's just I can't say enough good things about it. Like I said, it's a newer brand, but I really appreciate the form factor, and everything comes in cases that keep all of the bits and parts and adapters and, everything you need with it contained in the case. So, I really appreciate that those design elements from these products, and yeah, they're out in our SUV right now, and next time we take the trailer out, I've got confidence knowing we've got emergency
Yeah,
supply.
it's nice to it's they're nice to have just from the set it and forget it. I have I bought an air compressor that's let's say it's portable in the fact that I can pick it up. It's one of the
Mhm.
pancake style. You'd use it for an air gun or some of those kinds of
Right.
things. And it's super handy. I've never bought a tire pressure gauge filler
Mm.
thing that ever worked very well for me.
Yeah.
I'm always still guessing on the tire pressure. I'd love it. I love the feature on this where you just say, "Hey, put it, put it at 37 or put it at 35." It takes it right up to it. You don't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the nice thing about these. Jim Shoemaker says it's called a 12-volt power outlet, but none of them have the actual cigarette lighters
Right.
in them anymore. That's true. That's totally true, Jim.
12-volt power outlet, okay.
Appreciate
Our
that. And
age is
then
showing, Jim.
I know it's well, we've been doing this for a while. Bust out says I got a small portable compressor and tried inflating my tires on an old
Mm.
truck, and it just died so fast that I never
Oh.
finished inflating them because I got tired of running back and forth to charge. Right. So make sure
Yeah,
in his advice, don't get a small one. Did you feel like
yeah.
this one looks pretty hefty? Did you feel like it's got good, good worth out of the size?
I do. Like I said, I think earlier, I did have to inflate all 4 tires a little bit. And I think honestly, for most people, like if you've got a low tire, you're probably not gonna have 4 low tires, so it
Yeah.
should be more than
Okay.
enough to do 1 or 2. Um, before you need to recharge it. So I think it's good for what you'd need it for. And even when I kind of pushed it beyond what were probably its limits, it still delivered for me. So I was pretty happy with it.
Would you just leave it in the back of one of your cars? Does this go in the garage if and you take it with you if you're having problems, or what do you think? It's from
I've
a
been
tool
keeping
set
it in
standpoint.
the back of our SUV. I mean, Calgary doesn't usually get that hot to start with. It does get pretty freaking cold in the winter.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
is something I would want to, like was said earlier, take it out every few months and make sure it's got a full charge and the battery's doing okay with any extreme temperatures. But for now, it's been out in the car all summer and it seems fine. So
Okay. Tony Rayner says, he goes, I carry a plug kit, inflator, and a AAA card.
also
Uh,
smart.
yes, it's very, very, very handy. I remember changing a tire. I think the last time I changed a tire, I was maybe 30, right? And I haven't, it's been a long time since and not that I've called AAA. I've had AAA the whole time, but I just haven't had a flat tire in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to change a flat tire again. I'm not
No.
interested. No, not. I'm going to call
With
some. I'm going
with
to
run
wait.
flats, I think it's a lot less of an issue too these days, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Jim Shoemaker says in chat, he says, more cars don't have
Mm,
spare tires, right? Or adequate spare tires. You get that little tiny donut that you're like, don't
yes.
go over 5 miles an hour on this thing, right? He says, unfortunately, so an inflator and a can of patch goo is necessary, right? Sometimes throw that in there. Now,
Yeah.
the mechanics hate those things. Like, you take a tire in, you've put that stuff in it, you better give them
Yeah,
a good
they
tip.
want you to replace it. Yeah.
They are not gonna like that. Well, I think some good car tech. I think everybody's kind of got their things. I'd love to hear about those things. Drop those in the
Mhm.
comments on YouTube. Send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. I'd love to hear what your emergency car tech stuff is. And I want to ask the question, do you carry a first aid kit or not? When I lived in Germany, we were required as part of the military in those days. And
Mm,
I think it's German law that you have to carry a first aid kit with you. In the US, we don't do that. Do you?
mm.
Send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. Aaron, do you have a first aid kit in your trunk?
I have one in the camper van and one in the trailer, but not one, now that I'm thinking about it, in the SUV. Um, and friends of ours borrowed our camper van, and actually we've got a fire extinguisher in there too, which I put it in because I was like, why not? They rolled up on a car fire and ended up having to use the fire extinguisher to put out a car fire by the
Oh,
side of the road and help someone out.
such a good
So
idea.
another good important thing to keep with you that,
Such a good
again,
idea.
you never know when you're gonna need it, but you'll sure be glad when you have it.
I know I should get one. I should get a car. They have car versions of them. I should get a
Mhm.
car extinguisher. We just put them in the house, so I've got one down here in the basement around all this electric
Yeah.
electronic gear in case a lithium battery catches fire for
Right.
whatever reason. And then of course, we have one in the kitchen. But man,
Mhm.
a car would be a super good place to have a fire
Mhm.
extinguisher from that standpoint. Okay, good. All right, I'm intrigued by your headline. You said I bought some blinds, but I didn't put them on the windows. Tell me what exactly does that mean?
So, I had the opportunity to review a new washer dryer, and when I took out my old washer dryer, they were stacked, and when I was gonna put the new washer dryer in, I was like, "Man, there's all kinds of ductwork and plugs and ugly stuff in the background, and now my laundry room doesn't really look that great." So, coincidentally at that time, Smart Wings reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you like to review some of our blinds?" And I was like, "Do they have to go on the windows?" Because I kind of got this idea in my head that I wonder if the blinds could just sort of be placed in front of the wall to hide all of that laundry room ductwork. So I measured, it's actually really easy to order blinds nowadays. You just put in the measurements online, make a whole bunch of selections in terms of color and, how you want them to look, how you want the finished product to look. They arrive in the mail. you unbox them, you attach brackets into either the window frame if they're going in windows. For me, it went into the laundry room ceiling. And, pair them up to Alexa or whatever your smart assistant is, and you've got full automated control over these blinds, and I love it. It cleaned up my laundry room so well, put the focus kind of on these nice new Midea laundry machines that I ended up putting in the laundry room. And the great thing is I can talk to Alexa and have her raise them if I wanna get at the soap or whatever's back there. I've got a drying rack back there, so I can just ask Alexa to raise them and then hang up my stuff to dry, and then when everything's done, they come back down and they hide all of that ductwork, all of the plugs, all the connections, all the electrical, and I'm just so happy I did this. It makes such a difference in the laundry room, and yeah, kind of an unusual use case
It
for smart
is.
blinds, but
Yeah.
I love it. And if
Did
you
you
wanna check out, it's kind of hard to imagine what I'm talking about, so if you wanna go check out the video, there's 2 videos that this relates to. You'll see them in my review of the Midea washer dryer that's on the YouTube channel right now, and there's a dedicated video for the, SmartWings smart blinds on youtube.com/Erin Lawrence TV as well.
and I got the link in the show notes. I threw it out in the chat room if you want to go watch it right now. Jim Shoemaker in chat said he had watched he watched it, the blind video. Interesting use case for sure. Do you got RGB lighting behind there as well? Did you put some backlighting on that? Is that what I saw?
Ah, guilty. Guilty, Your Honor. Yes, I also did that. Because, well, when I put the blinds in, it kinda looks like, there could be windows back there, right? Because 'Cause they're blinds. And I
Yeah.
thought, "Oh, it would be nice if I could get some lighting back there, because then I could set it to look like, daylight or to adjust to daylight or just to put a nice warm color back there." So, I did do that, and it actually gives it kind of a really nice glow that does kinda
Yeah.
make it look like a window as well,
Yeah.
so
In the video, you got 3 different sizes,
mhm.
right? So you're covering kind of the sink, and then there's the washer and the dryer, and you could have different, you could size these differently, and then you could actually control them individually. So what I would think, like, if you have a shelf that just has a ton of stuff on it, right? And
Yes, clutter.
we've all got those shelves, right, that are just full of crap.
Yep.
And you could just run one of run one of those blinds, and then when you need it, just be and Alexa, sorry, A lady enabled. Sorry, friends. A lady enabled, right? So you could tell it, are each one of these, do they have their own name? Can you
Yeah.
control one of them without the others? So I could, if I want to get to the soap that I'm trying to hide on the shelf, I could just raise one, right?
Yeah, you can set it up in both ways. You name them individually, so you can voice control them individually, or there's a remote you
Okay.
also get with it, so you can use that. Or you can then group them through the A Lady app, and open them all together or close them all together as well. And it
Okay.
works really, really well. I just think it's so smart and so I'm patting myself on the back there. I think it looks smart. What a great idea, Erin. You're
Ah,
such a
that's so
genius.
great. Oh, that is no, it's a
Oh,
great
dear.
use case. I never would have thought of using blinds. Now, listen, they're not the cheapest thing in the world, right? You could probably get away with standard blinds too if you want to do it that way. But I
Oh,
never
for
thought
sure,
about
yeah.
covering up ugly walls. Especially in a situation where you might need to get to them on a more regular basis than I'm never going to
Right.
see. I never want to see these walls.
Yeah.
Maybe it's twice a year, maybe it's 3 times a year, and you're thinking, I got to get back there for whatever reason. Zoop, the wall
Well, and that's
disappears,
that's
right?
why I wanted smart ones, Jim, because I
Yeah.
thought I could just hang up like, shades from Costco or Walmart or wherever. But I knew that as soon as I put them up and like you crank them up and you leave them there, I would never put them down again because then why? Whereas if I can walk into the laundry room, ask a lady to open the blinds, do what I gotta do, put the soap in, do things, grab my laundry, and then ask her to close them as I'm walking out the door. It's just so
Yeah.
much easier and more convenient for me. And The other thing that I really, really wanted to do, I mean, some people out there are probably thinking like, "It's a laundry room, get over yourself." And yes, fair and true. Um, but I did get these really nice Midea, washer dryer pair, and
Yeah,
they're really nice looking. Like, appliances these days are really
I know.
taking more kind of design forward
I know. They're
steps.
spaceships. They're
Yeah,
spaceships. They make
and
coffee.
I really
Yeah.
wanted, not yet, but maybe.
Maybe someday.
I really wanted the focus to be on those machines and
Yeah.
just
Yeah, yeah.
to for that to be the thing that I look at and admire when I walk into that room. And where the door is in that room, that's the other thing. The first thing you walk in, normally you see all of those ducts and connections. And I just thought, again, these are not the world's problems to solve, but in my smart home,
Hey,
I
it's a
didn't wanna have to
design.
look at the ductwork, and I
Right
had the
on.
power to make change in my
I
life,
know.
so I
I'm
did.
looking at my laundry area now, and I'm kind of like, oh, maybe we'll put some smart blinds over, because I have that same kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I've painted it, but the pipes come down, and
Mhm.
it's not the most attractive thing in the
Yeah.
world. And you're like, well, okay. Bust Out says he would call his. I don't know what you named yours, but he said he would call
Mm.
mine bay doors, and then tell the aide lady, open the bay
Oh, good
doors.
one.
Yeah, and then it would say in that voice, I can't do that, Dave. You gotta
Oh, I
know
totally should have
2001. It's
given
a two,
them
yes. No,
smarter
right on.
names, more
Yeah.
clever
No, it's,
names.
yeah, it's a, but from the smart blind space, you just mentioned this. We kind of glossed over it, but the ability to order smart blinds in whatever size you want, there's never been a better time to do this, right? Than
Yep.
right now. You can get with these companies, order them. What's the name of this? Where did you get these again?
Those were from Smartwings, but I've also
Okay.
reviewed from a brand called Somfy a couple of years ago, and I have those. I have the Somfy version in our living room, my office, and our bedroom as well.
Okay.
And Somfy can be a little finicky to program, and when things change, they're a little less intuitive.
Okay.
Um, I've found the Smartwings to be pretty responsive, so
Hmm.
I
Okay.
think the technology and the user interface of a lot of smart blinds could improve all the way around.
Yeah.
They're still a little nerdy, maybe is the word for it, but,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, long way to
Well,
go.
you're talking to the right audience for that.
That's
If
right.
there's anybody that could
My
figure
fellow
out
nerds.
nerdy, yes, figure out nerdy, it's this. I think one of the areas we don't think about enough on smart blinds is during the summer, when sun comes up and it's blaring in the windows, of bringing shade to the house from an
Mhm.
automatic. I've been doing a whole bunch of solar work over the last couple of weeks, and thinking about the timing of solar panels, like when
Mhm.
is the solar potential the greatest, and then what do I do during that time? With shades, you want to do the opposite. When's the
Yes.
solar potential the greatest? How am I going to prevent that from getting into my house? Right.
Yeah.
And those shades can kind of morph with, bring that morning sun in if that's what you like. And then at a certain time, and depending on the shade, you can kind of program it to be like, follow this with the
Mhm.
season, or there's some integrations you can put in with those. I think we
Well, you can
underestimate
get
that.
solar sensors as well.
Right.
The
For
Somfy
sure.
ones, I had one of them in place for a little while, and then I was just like, I'd rather control it myself." But you can set up a solar sensor in those windows, and when it detects kind of, I'm not quite sure, I don't remember if it's sort of the heat or the light, but when it gets to a certain detection point, it goes, "Okay, it's too sunny," and it'll put the blinds down for you automatically. And then when the sun disappears from that
Yeah.
area, it'll open the
Yeah.
blinds up again. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that technology is there for sure, and, especially if you're in a place that you don't have air conditioning, like, that can go a long way.
For sure. Yeah, getting it dark. Although, if you in Tony's case, he says blazing hot outside, and my wife will still throw open all the blinds because she says she doesn't want to live in a cave. Well, live in a cave for the solar bright spots of the day, then open them up in the mornings or the evenings, to get that, to say, hey, maybe it's not smart if we have the sun blaring in our windows at the hottest part of the day. So, no, some good stuff. we don't talk enough about blinds here. That is
Mm,
one of those things I think we could maybe talk more about. You said they're nerdy and they have been hard, like in years past, they've been hard to work with. Like you
mhm.
almost had to, they were like, well, it's like lighting for a while. You had to hire a professional to
Yeah,
come in and put your lighting in.
yeah.
Now we can do most of that. I think shades are going to get the same way here where
Mhm. They're always
the average
improving. I mean,
guy,
that's the
yeah,
great thing about technology
yeah,
is,
yeah,
today's blinds are not gonna be tomorrow's blinds, and you can say
yeah.
that about robot lawnmowers and a lot of other things we've talked about tonight.
For sure, for sure. Okay, maybe the last thing that we do here, but I think it's super important. I alluded to this because I said it's something about your washer making coffee. But seriously, coffee makers are now making soft serve. What is going on here, Aaron?
Not
What is
quite the
happening?
coffee maker making soft serve, but
No,
that
I know,
is
I know.
the Ninja Swirl by Creamy, which is an at-home soft serve ice cream maker. So this is Ninja's follow-up to, what was called the Creamy last summer, which made, they called it frozen desserts. It would kind of whip up fruit or, frozen ice milk or whatever and make desserts for you. But this one will not only do that same frozen dessert making, it will also press out soft serve for you. And this is fun. I mean, if you've got kids or you are an ice cream lover, you probably want one of these. It's a lot of fun. It's really easy to use once you understand what you're doing. There's sort of a two-part process to this. You've got to freeze your ingredients in a bowl, a special bowl they call it. And then on one side of the machine is almost kind of like a food processor attachment. So it will whip that frozen dessert or ice cream or whatever it is to an edible consistency, I guess you could say. And then phase two, I mean, you can eat the ice cream at that stage if you want to, but if you want to press it into soft serve, you attach it to the other side of the machine. And then it's sort of got this almost like a plunger press, and it will press the ice cream out through a star shaped nozzle in the front and you've got instant soft serve. So we had a lot of fun testing this.
I bet you
Shucks, we had to make
did.
ice cream
Oh,
like
bummer.
almost every day. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, it makes actually really good soft serve ice cream. And Ninja will give you a recipe book that's kind of got some starter ideas. And because you need sort of a certain consistency of the mix, in order for it to actually come out properly as soft serve ice cream, following the recipes is a pretty good idea, which I did, and we got some great results. It was a really fun gadget to try. The ice cream was good, the recipes I tried were great, and it took me back to the time in high school when I worked at an ice cream shop and you had to actually get that swirly
Mm-hmm.
spin on the
Mm-hmm.
cone, which is an art form, and I've apparently lost my touch because it was not easy.
Not as much. Okay. Oh, you got it. Like, look at the screen for a second. Does that not look like a coffee maker?
It
I'm
does look
s
like a coffee
uh,
maker. Yeah,
yeah, no,
it's
look at that. Like, that is
the
it's a
buttons
coffee
and the
maker.
panel on
Yeah,
front.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
right on, right on. Bust Out says in chat, he says he loves his creamy, is that how you pronounce it?
creamy,
Creamy?
yep.
Creamy? He says, "Lets me make lactose-free ice cream," which is a
Oh,
great,
yeah. Yeah,
great
that's a great
opportunity.
point. You can depending on the recipe you use, you can do dairy-free, lactose-free, just straight up fruit whip, that kind of thing. There's all sorts of different settings. Frozen custard, which is a little more like an ice cream. So definitely options for people that maybe might be a little more limited in what they can actually have.
It's a coffee maker. Look at that thing. Okay, and then Jim Shoemaker says, "Oh man, that ice cream looks very dangerous to me." And then Bust Out says, "Oh, I don't have the counter space for the new one, but I want one."
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it is a bigger and heavier machine. And one of the kind of downsides is it's loud to operate, and it usually takes I think it took about 5 to 7 minutes or so for it to whip the ice cream in that first stage that I was talking about, and then it'll sort of press it in the next stage, and that happens much quicker, but it's it's not it's not instant, but it is fast, if that makes sense.
It's good I took it off the screen. You were just showing the chocolate one, and I was like,
Mm,
"Oh, that looks that
so
what's
good.
a retail in something like this, do you think?"
Ooh, I don't remember. Jim, I should have looked that up. I should have known better.
No,
I
it's
wanna
okay.
say it's around 200 and something?
Oh, that's not terrible.
Yeah, I
Especially
can't remember.
especially for an
Don't quote me on
automated
that, people.
yeah, especially for an automated ice cream maker, and you're right, I think about the time with my kids. This is when I don't know if we do a lot of this now. I mean, I barely
Mm,
eat the ice cream that we buy from the
yeah,
store that I just scoop out, right? But, it with the kids, it'd be a fun thing to do. I bet, you get 3 or 4 summers out of something like this where you're
yeah.
using it all the time, and I think that probably probably makes it worth it from that
Well,
standpoint.
the other thing that we haven't talked about yet, and I think am I putting that up later this week, is, I got a slush maker.
Oh,
So Ninja also makes a slushy machine, which, speaking of dangerous, is very dangerous. And again, sadly, I had to make slushy drinks and slushy
oh,
cocktails and
yeah.
have a lot of fun with that, every night for a week or 2. So,
Well, and
that was another fun machine.
you talked about a portable on your site, a portable carbonated water maker as well you can take with you. So, like, you're getting kinda frou-frou on all like, how are you gonna live when during the apocalypse? Like, how is this gonna work for
Well,
you?
everybody will come to my house for ice cream. I will
Oh,
have
okay.
all of the tools for everything, and you will all come here and we will have ice cream. So that's how we
Yeah.
will survive the apocalypse.
Yeah, and then one more review you did. I want to point folks to your site for this, and I'll throw the link while I'm thinking about it. You give me a quick review on this, but you are reviewing cars. I don't like what is happening, Erin. You got a CX50 hybrid review. Just give
Mhm.
us a quick overview on that. I'll put the link out so folks can head out there
Yeah,
and watch
yeah.
that.
I got to try out a Mazda. Fun fact, Mazda was my first car that I bought with my own money, and I've got a lot of affinity for the brand. So I had the opportunity to take one of their hybrid vehicles, hybrid SUV, out on the road for a week, and really had a cool experience with it. I've talked before about how I'm kind of new to electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles, and I don't have a ton of experience with them. So I think I'm kind of always surprised when the power is there, and you can really drive these vehicles like every other vehicle. So it was super comfortable. It was very fun to drive. I was really impressed with it. But yeah, check out the full review on Erin Lawrence TV on YouTube if you want to learn more about it.
Yeah,
And there's a few other car reviews that I've checked out as well. Rivian was one of the more recent ones, which I had a phenomenal experience with. And I think a Lexus before that. So that's been kind of fun. The crossover between technology and vehicles
yeah. Well, they're the
is
same thing
kind
now.
of
I mean,
amazing. Yeah.
cars are just
So, makes
gadgets.
sense.
Yeah, they are just gadgets. Now, this was a hybrid, so not full
Mhm.
electric, but a hybrid, kind of a hybrid. In the old days, the hybrids were neither good.
Mm.
Like they didn't take advantage of the electric side of things, and their engines
Yeah.
weren't very big. Did you feel or sense at all? Did it have good pickup? Do you feel like, I mean, my last hybrid was an '06, so it's been 20
Okay,
years,
yeah.
right? Do you feel like
Yeah.
it's gotten better?
Yeah, the Mazda and the Rivian that I took out, I was quite impressed with how much getup they had and how much pep and, thing for passing or if you ever have to make a sudden fast maneuver. Um, I perhaps, you know, because I didn't know, I wasn't expecting them to have quite as much pickup, and I was really impressed with how, the Mazda and the Rivian were able to perform.
It'll be interesting to see, as the US kind of starts to give back its gains on full electric vehicles. And we have an administration that's favoring kind of getting
Mm.
back into the gasoline space. But the hybrid space, it'll be interesting to see where all this lands, so to speak,
Mhm.
where what it
Yep.
comes up with. Certainly, you can still purchase full electric vehicles. You can purchase still full gas vehicles. You can get
Yep.
hybrids as you're seeing here. Do you have a preference at this point? I mean, you've gotten an opportunity to do both or all
Mhm.
three. You have a preference?
I have 2 caveats about electric vehicles, and one is the weather in Calgary and the weather in most of Western Canada in the winter. It is extremely cold here, -35, -40, which is, I think, both the same Celsius and Fahrenheit,
It
is
is,
not
yeah, 40, it
uncommon.
comes together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
it gets damn cold here, and
yeah.
I would be really concerned about the battery performance, on a regular basis. So that's one major consideration for me. I haven't had the chance to sort of try out a vehicle long term through the winter to see what the actual reality is like. If any car brands want to loan me an electric vehicle for the winter and we'll find out together, happy to do that.
Yeah.
But the other consideration for me is, and I found this with the Rivian, is that I like to road trip and, Roger and I like to get out and road trip for, a week at a time. And having to stop, potentially every day for up to an hour or 90 minutes to wait for those batteries to recharge, it really cuts into how much distance you can make, what you're going to do for those 90 minutes. You've got to stop. So
Mhm, mhm.
that I'm not yet sold on.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think a hybrid, of course, obviously makes that a little better, but yeah, those are kind of 2 big caveats for me, and I'm like you said, I'm interested to see where the technology goes and where the automakers go with vehicle technology to see how they can resolve,
Yeah.
everyday considerations like that.
Yeah. I've been doing this solar work over the last couple weeks of thinking like, is solar viable? And I didn't it's easy to say, like here in Nebraska, electric's pretty cheap. And so it always makes it hard to make solar worth it. And I thought, well, I'm not going to go fully in. I'll just try some things.
Mm.
Figure some stuff out, be smart about it. And at one point I had a thought about, you know what, maybe I'll turn this shed into a big giant battery because I can
Mm,
pull all the electric in, house the batteries in the shed. And then I'm like, no, in the winter,
right,
that's not going to work. Like I just
right.
can't with negative. We don't ever, I mean, -40 with wind chills, but we don't, -20 is a pretty extreme for us. But it's still pretty cold for batteries, right? And you're
Mhm.
just like, well, and then it's like, well, maybe I'll pull up the floor and I'll start burying them. I'll dig a. And you're
A
like, okay,
bunker.
Jim, settle down, big guy, settle down. Like, you don't need a
I love it.
bunker. Yeah, you don't need a bunker in there. But it's that consideration, right? I mean, for you, that's batteries are tough in that space
Yeah.
because you got to kind of think through. Now, yet I know, I had family grow or live in Montana for a lot of years, and they would plug their vehicles in every night, and maybe
Mhm,
that's a solution for a lot of electric vehicles is,
mhm.
okay, well, you're going to plug them in anyways. Well, then maybe
Yeah.
the self heaters need to for those
Make a
climates.
comeback, yeah.
Yeah, make something along those lines, and we figure those those things out. Yeah, Jim says electricity is cheap too in Nebraska. We're 12 cents a kilowatt hour. It's tough to justify
Mhm.
at any solar price. Peter had sent me an email when I talked about solar last week, and I thought I'd bought the panels at 50 cents a watt. And I
Mm.
thought that was a pretty good price point. I think I can get them even a little bit cheaper, especially if I go a little bit used. Hey, on your new camper, you gonna put solar panels on the roof of that thing, or how are you gonna power it?
For right now, shore power, and I did get a single, car battery for it, but
Okay.
then I realized I don't have the proper switch, or I forget what it's called. Like I said, I'm new to all this.
Yeah. It's
I
good.
would like
It's
to
good
put
for you.
solar on the roof, but I also
Yeah.
discovered that the roof might have some structural issues, so the
Okay.
last thing I
Okay.
wanna do right now is drill
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So, there's a
For
couple
sure.
other
Okay.
options though. I've found some power banks actually. No, portable power stations, I think they're called,
Mhm.
that are
Mhm.
actually strong enough to power an RV, and you can buy, solar panels that recharge those portable power
Oh, for
stations.
sure.
So I thought rather than mounting something on the roof, if I can get one of these power stations and a solar panel kit, I can actually just plug the RV or the trailer rather straight into that box and it should run for,
Yeah.
24 to 48 hours. I'm not
Yeah.
running much load off of it, but I think I'm gonna go that route instead before I try attaching stuff to the roof, because
Well, there's a
anybody who
lot to
owns a
be
trailer knows they're finicky.
yeah, and you're driving with them and the rattling
Yeah.
and, there's a lot to be said in your scenario about having a couple 400-watt portable panels that you pull in, throw them
Yep.
out. You can position them. They're easy, right? They're portable.
Yep.
They don't have to survive the elements all the time. You're not
Yes.
permanently putting them somewhere. And so you pay a little bit more for those and they don't
Mhm.
last quite as long, but they also don't live through the torment. They're out when you're camping, right?
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
right? When
You're
you're using
taking
them
them in
that
if it
way.
gets windy, that kinda stuff.
No, right on. Yeah, you have complete control over them, and they can charge that, and you can also plug in and recharge those back. This is the great part about solar generators or power packs or whatever you want to call it. The even in the years, I bought a Blue Eddy AC 180
Mhm.
that's got a thousand, I want to say 1,000 kilowatt hour battery in it, and solar chargers 500 watts. What I paid for that now, I could get double or triple that on everything, right? And you're
Yep.
kind of like, okay, so now is the time thinking about, it's just today I was thinking about, well, maybe it's time to upgrade to an EcoFlow. I can get 3 times the charge capability coming in on
Mhm.
solar. I can get 4 times the storage, and I can get it for nearly the same watt
Yeah.
hour price that I bought this for.
Yep.
And you're like, okay,
A
this,
another great example of technology that keeps coming down in price and keeps getting
yeah.
better at what it's doing,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Anything coming up at Tech Gadgets International? I want to make sure I get
Tech
that right.
Gadgets
Tech
International?
Gadgets International. Anything coming up you want to highlight before I let you go?
Yeah, I'm working on a review of a Lenovo yoga book that's gonna be coming up. I'm looking around my room here. I've got a new Samsung, smart monitor. Their new monitor line doubles as
Oh
a
yeah.
TV and kind of a entertainment screen in addition to
Curved,
being a
flat. What's the size of it?
flat 32
Okay.
inch. It's up
Okay.
in front of me right now. It's huge,
4K.
4K resolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fantastic so far. It's got a built-in webcam, which, in the pre-show we discovered was
Mm,
not quite working for us, so I'll have to fiddle around
needed
with
some
that.
firmware. Just needs a
Yeah,
firmware update. I'm
or
sure
something.
it'll be fine.
There's a remote for it somewhere around here, so maybe there's a Zoom feature for it. So I'll
Yeah.
be doing that review. I reviewed the M8 monitor. I currently have the M9, and I quite liked the M8. I found it to be a way better option, I thought, than something like Apple's smart display, and significantly cheaper too. So interested to see how the M9 turns out. And speaking of Samsung products, I bought myself a new Frame TV. I
Oh,
bought the
nice.
Frame TV Pro, which is
Okay.
the 2025 um, fancy version. The Frame TV content that I've done on the YouTube channel has been massive. People love it. So I thought I better find out what's new with the Frame TV Pro. And Jim, there are, I'll say, 7 frustrations I'm having with this TV,
Oh, okay.
in to be exact.
Okay.
And
7.
there's some considerations, and I'm not happy about it. So that
Okay.
review should be up in the next week or so. If you're thinking about potentially upgrading to a frame TV, from an older one, or getting a frame TV, I think you're gonna wanna know about this one before you hit add to cart.
Okay. Check it out, techgadgetsinternational.com. Congratulations on that. By the time some folks are listening to this, you may have hit 100,000, but head over to youtube.com/Erin Lawrence TV and subscribe. Let's get her to 100,000 before this is over. And before I let you go, but one more comment. Erin Bust Out says, after talking about the Ninja Creamy, I'm now getting ads for soft serve machines at Amazon. Ah, those cookies.
It happens, it
They
happens.
they
Oh, and
they
Jim, I
are
should drop one other thing, to your audience in
yeah,
particular.
yeah.
I can't say a lot about it yet, but to celebrate my 100,000 subscribers, I'm gonna be doing a pretty big giveaway.
Oh,
Um, and I don't just sort of mean one big giveaway, I mean, like, a days long giveaway of some pretty cool stuff.
Nice.
Um, can't talk about it yet, but if any of your audience out there might be interested in winning some of the gadgets or brands that I've reviewed over the last weeks and months, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can go to Tech Gadgets International to sign up for my newsletter. Those are sort of the ways you can keep up to date on what's going on. That giveaway should roll out in September, just after I cross the 100,000 subscribers threshold. And nothing would give me more pleasure than to see some members of your audience who've been so kind to me win some pretty cool tech. So,
Well, we are your biggest fans. We love what you do. There's been some great comments in chat. Jim Schoonover says loves how you do sensible pro and cons in your reviews. And Bustat says I have a frame and love it. I always appreciate you coming on. Listen, if you're going to send us free giveaways, enough smoke already. Okay, we don't need any more
okay,
smoke
no more
from you
smoke,
guys. No
more
more smoke.
giveaways of free
Can you
tech.
just tell the
Noted.
border, like turn fans on or something? Like blow it. The Ontario can have it. We don't need they need they could Ontario could use some smoke, right? Right?
I think
So
they've got their share too, actually. Southern Alberta right now might be the place that with the least amount of
oh,
smoke. I don't know how we got lucky, but
yeah. Well,
as
you
as a Canadian, my apologies to our American friends.
listen, you live on the Front Range. It's God's country up there. It's just beautiful in what you're doing. And so, Erin, always great to have you on. Thanks for coming in. I'll let you go and I'll close up the show. Thanks for coming on. Congratulations on 100,000 and let's go for a million. Like,
Yeah.
why,
Thanks so
why
much,
wouldn't
Jim.
we?
Great to talk to
Yeah,
you, and
you
I'll see
bet.
you
You
soon.
bet. Have a great evening. Thanks for coming on, Erin. Take care. Couple reminders on the way out. A couple things here to just to remind you of. Don't forget, you can contact the show. We talked about a few things earlier. Send me an email. Peter sent me an email. Peter, thanks for the email. That was the graphic we showed a little bit earlier that had the power tool families or mafia, if you want to say it that way, on there. And you can send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. Always appreciate hearing for you. Tony says in chat, it's Tech Gadgets International now, Tony. She's changed it. You can go to Tech Gadgets Canada if you want. That works too. She's forwarding it. But she's changing her brand to be more international. And so techgadgetsinternational.com for Erin. Always appreciate having her on. Big thanks to Christian over there, the AverageGuy.tv platform, both web and media hosting. Powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust. I trust Christian. For more information and for pricing, I think he's still got some $10 plans. I've been working, by the way, I've been working on getting Christian back on the show. They just had a baby, so it's been a it's been a slow boat to get him here. Check it out today, maplegrovepartners.com. Join the Discord group, theaverageguy.tv/Discord. And of course, you can always send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. A big thanks both to our Patreon subscribers. I mentioned this in the beginning. But big thanks to our Patreon subscribers. Appreciate that. I've been doing some solar testing and some work and some thought that'll kind of mix its way into some shows this week. Kind of got everything up and running, and now we're working on getting the home automation part of it working. The Blue Eddy with home automation, that's been a little bit of a struggle. I also bought. I've got them right here. They just came in today. Some tools. These come with the parts, but I ordered a whole bunch of ends. These are MC4 connectors that I'm going to need. I'm pretty sure I've got the wiring figured out at this point. So we're going to be cutting the wiring down. I have a lot more wiring than I need. You know, I bought three 30-foot rolls, and I don't need, there's some spots where, I've got most of it rolled up. So we'll be doing some cutting and putting some new ends on and getting some efficiencies in that. I'm going to custom build a frame for the 2 panels that I have so that I can tilt them up at certain degrees during certain parts of the season. I may automate that as well. Just kind of thinking through that. And then just today I had the thought, since the Blue Eddy is not going to work to take in both solar and grid at the same time, maybe I need to pick up the EcoFlow Delta Pro 3, significantly more expensive, $2,700 versus $700. Now that would be actually work as a whole home backup that has a 30 amp. Yeah, I could plug that in the case of, I would say, short to long term backup needs. It could do probably 80% of the house. There's a few things that won't work. I need to plug the generator in to get the extra boost. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We're continuing to work through solar. If you've got questions, you can send me an email, Jim at theaverageguy.tv, or comments. Some of the things I'm doing. Listen, I've learned a ton just by forcing myself into the solar space, into the battery space. Been chatting with the AI, the co-pilot AI quite a bit to figure out, like, it's just good to bounce ideas off of. What do I need to think about here? What should I be thinking about there? There's been some complaints about AI and always agreeing with you. And today I got the first, you might want to think about this before you do it. I was super surprised. It actually kind of told me not to do something I was thinking about. Um, I know there's a term for that. I forget what they're calling that, where the AIs are too agreeable. And so you're like, okay, is it always agreeing with me type deal? So I actually got one to disagree with me. Bust Out says, "What's the over and under on Jim ending up with a Tesla Powerwall?" I would say I'd take the under. I probably won't. I probably wouldn't go that far. Well, you never know. You never know. Here in Nebraska, if power all of a sudden got pretty expensive, I might change my mind. It's just such a break even at this point. Be honest with you, the goal for me is never to completely replace the regular power coming in, but to augment it in some way. I think I have some pretty good opportunities to cover, let's say, 25% of my power bill with solar. So I don't know. See how that goes. If I tell you what, if I could run the studio, it's during the day, 500 watts or so. If I could run that full time, that'd be a significant savings. That's a big draw here on what we do every single month. Besides the air conditioning in the summer, there isn't that much. I mean, I guess the dryer and the oven take quite a bit, but those are so sporadic, right? Although it's been pretty hot and we have heat warnings for tomorrow. So the air conditioner is it's a big draw. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, almost every Thursday. I'm actually taking next week off. We have a Japanese exchange student coming to stay with us over the weekend. And so I will not be recording next week, as we'll be taking care of the student. Lots of things to do with that and activities, and make sure they're well taken care of. So I am off next week. The week after that, Jay Franzi is joining me. Jay, he's been on before. A good friend of mine is getting married the weekend of August 28th. So I'm out again the 28th for that wedding. And then September 9th, Brian Freelander, I had to move him down to the 4th of September. And then we're into, I might take 9/11 off. I don't know. Maybe do you podcast on 9/11? I guess I could. Maybe I have in the past even. I don't know. So got some open dates coming up. And for Jim, Tony, Bust Out, I saw Jim Shoemaker. I saw Brian a little bit earlier. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thanks for being Joe was checking in a little bit. He checked in a little bit earlier. Thanks for hanging out, being part of the show tonight. Erin, again, big thanks to Erin. Always great to have her. She's got some great stuff going on, and appreciate her and all the work that she does. Head out to Tech Gadgets International, and make sure you subscribe to her YouTube page, youtube.com/Erin Lawrence TV. Make sure you're subscribed there so she can get to 100,000. Thanks for coming out. I'll do a little bit of a post show. If you got any questions, throw them in chat. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. Hey, friends. Thanks for coming out tonight. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your comments tonight. Thanks for supporting Erin. She's pretty dynamite. She does a nice job. Thanks for working through me on the solar stuff. It's kind of been the project. I've learned a ton. I actually, not related to solar, I rewired our garage. So now we have 5 outlets along the walls in the garage, which there was 0 before. So that was kind of fun, getting some of that wiring in there. I still got a little bit more to do on that, but it's going to be more intense work. That's going to require a little bit of drywall. I'm gonna have to cut into the wall to get some things done there. And I I need to go into a circuit, and I probably have too many wires in this circuit, which means I need to put a bigger one in, or bigger box. We're gonna need a bigger box. So I've got a little bit of work to do on that. I did get it wired up with a pigtail, and so that's working for now. But I should probably put a more permanent solution in there. So it's been fun. I wired in the military, and it's been fun. I've been doing a lot of wiring lately. It's been fun to get back to that. And listen, the solar wiring, different gig, right? You have crimpers, MC4 connectors, a couple different kinds of connectors. I've MC4 has only been the only ones I've worked with so far, but kind of standardizing on that because they're pretty easy. Bought some tools for that. Um, so Erin said, testing your idea with my EcoFlow Delta 2 early days, but interesting data. Aaron, what kind of data are you getting off of that? And which idea are you testing with that for me? Um, yeah, and I think I'll be honest. I think EcoFlow. I've had great luck with the Blue Eddy, but it doesn't. Their firmware and their hardware does not do both grid and solar power together. They do it for charging, but they don't do it for regular running. Yeah, Aaron says, "I want the Tesla." Yeah, everybody does. I want the Tesla Powerwall, but the payoff's too long. Yeah, yeah, indeed. For us too, it's just way too long here in Nebraska. Can't really justify it. I would, and I could. I don't know. Tesla. Those Tesla walls are about $10,000, and then insulation and all those other things. I can do two Delta Pro 2s, which is 8K, which would be plenty for me. 8K without any additional batteries for $6,000. So significantly cheaper. I can still get 50 amps out of it, which is all I need for backup. Um, yeah, no, I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I may not. Again, if the payoff's so long on these things, basically I have to justify it by just saying it's a hobby. Be like, well, I just want to learn about this and get it figured out. Busta says, good luck with the solar. I'm way past when I should have left, but to entertain tonight. Well, hey, Bust Out, thanks for hanging around. Appreciate it. Thanks for staying that with that. Jim says he loves his EcoFlow. Yeah, yeah. I that the Blue Eddy doesn't have Wi-Fi, and I think like Wi-Fi connectivity where I can remote manage it doesn't have it, and EcoFlow does. So it's like, and some of the new units, I was like, nah, I'd really like to be able to. I mean, I spend 5 days a week at work. I'm back at work, back in the office. I like to be able to do some monitoring of it from there. You know, so love Blue Eddy. I love the EcoFlow guys to send me something. That'd be awesome. That'd be pretty fun. Test that stuff out. So the battery, like the battery space on YouTube is nuts. Have you guys, if you ever want to, the one I like to watch is Hobotech, HOBO, Hobotech. I love that guy. He kind of does some no nonsense reviews on these, sends them all through very similar tests, gives a really good review, Hobotech, and does it with a good. He's got a good kind of style about him. So if you're interested in checking out those kinds of reviews, Hobotech is the guy I like on that. All right, friends. I know it's early. It's only 8:30, which is kind of weird, but I'm still getting used to this new time slot. I can get done. I think it's still light outside for the most part, although not light enough for the solar panels. I have them. Um, yeah. Jim says Hobotech and his cat. Yeah, it's good. It's good. He's a good guy. I kind of like him. He started off his older stuff is very interesting, and then his newer stuff has gotten pretty standardized. Um, I've got the two solar panels mounted just flat on my patio, the patio rail. They fit really nice. I just got them clamped down. Then this weekend I bought some clamps, and I'm going to get tube for the frames. Then I'm going to mount them on that spot on the patio so I can tilt them up. I don't know, it's 20 degrees or something this time of year for solar panels, so I can get those. I can get those tilted up and start measuring it on the front porch. And then I think I'll wait for prices to drop, and I may be putting some in the backyard. I just put the inlet box in the house for that. So I have MC4 connectors on the other side of the house where I can plug that in and bring it down if I need to. for testing and to plug it in and give it a try. Although the Blue Eddy only accepts 500 watts at 10 amps for 50 volts. No, 64 volts, something like that. So I don't know if I can put a fifth panel on there with what I have. So I got a little bit of work to do to get it all figured out. It's been fun. It's been fun to do the math. Been fun to test it out, not just talk about it, but actually test it out. So I appreciate you guys on that. All right, friends, have a good evening. Thanks for coming out. Have a great weekend. Stay cool if you're in the northern hemisphere. I know a lot of places are getting record temperatures this weekend, and I appreciate you guys coming out and being a part of this. Erin, good to see you. And Tony, Jim, bust out. Joe, a little bit earlier. Brian, thanks for coming out tonight. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We have a Japanese student next week, so off to take care of her. We'll be back in after that. The shows will continue. Have a good week off. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.